Nemesis, DSA tank players. So let me just get to the first choke and we'll go over how to best play Sigma at first choke and maximize your value, and why Sigma is probably one of the strongest tanks for this first choke. If you couldn't figure it out already, he's one of the only tanks with splash damage, so that's a big help. So most teams hold here, so your role here is basically based off the team comp they're running. If the team you're playing against has good hit scans like a Widow or an Ashe, your shield would be primarily used not as a rotation shield to give you guys shield, but as an isolation shield to minimize the value of their hit scans and basically make it so they're playing a man down. So you gotta think if they're let's go over their attacking right side. So anyways, you can just fire in, you always have that back ricochet, you rotate in, but normally they'll still have a Widow either go there or pop up. So all you're going to do is you're just going to toss your shield, turn, then you can still play and see your shield will still be blocking that hole out. And the reason why you're like, what's preventing them from just shooting through the shield? Well, a Sig shield has 900 health. Alright, that's going to take at least 2 mags of Ashe or 3 mags of Widow. And by the time that they manage to shoot through your barrier, the fight will already be over. You can rotate here, so if you know they're coming to this right side, I would recommend you rotate here and you get ricochets in. One of the best things about Sigma is he is probably the best character at holding L turns, which is what this is, because he can ricochet. He can safely get damage off and build his ult while not taking damage. And that's what makes his right side extremely strong. Next, I noticed you guys weren't doing is how holding this left side correctly. So they're pushing through left, they're going down this bottom left channel, right? They're going in there. Well, one thing I noticed is you guys would just back up and almost go to point. You guys should try to bottleneck them right in there. You toss your shield up, and you just ricochet in there. You can rotate around, get more of a ricochet angle. In that small space, anyone in there you're gonna get hit with. Alright. Hold on, let me get him in here. One second. Let me get Captain Cook in here. Alright, so what happens here is if you're choking them, you're spamming in there, you're getting good damage, alright? Your goal is to come around, you throw the rock there, you get the CC, especially if they're running a Rhine. Most Rhines won't have their shield up coming here, where you can instantly rock them and your team can spray and almost instant kill a dumb Rhine. The next best thing you can do is, if say Ryan's holding here, just pretend this is Ryan's shield. He's not playing or getting value, he's just pushing through, but your team's spamming and he's not advancing because you guys have too much spam, but you're not getting any value because you're just hitting shield. What you can do is you can cheekily do a jump back and start spamming in the backside and getting their backs. Alright, so when they rotate top left, right, they'll rotate top left, you'll have here. Well, another thing you guys have is this Widow. Most teams will have a Widow here post up high ground. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna look wherever the Widow is. Say she's on that left edge. Just toss your shield there, and boom, Widow's isolated, blocked out. She can't do anything. She's now gonna have to jump down and give up her high ground. Oh, what's up, Cook? You can join. Yeah, you can join in here. If you, so I've just been going step by step. I'll have a video up of everything I've been explaining up, but you can come in here and I can explain to you SIG stuff.
Yeah, I'll be there in like 5 minutes. Give me a second.
That's fine. You guys can skip a few minutes ahead since we're gonna wait till Cook gets here. Alright.
Activating the barrier. Retrieving the barrier. Das Universum singt vor mir. Activating the barrier. Back to me.
Alright, you here now?
Yeah, I'm here.
Alright, so if you just want to come meet me at first choke, and I'll go for that.
Barrier in place.
Are you primarily a Reinhardt player? Like, do you play Sigma at all or no?
Yeah, I do play him.
Alright.
I just
I just didn't know whose role's what. Alright. So I'll come show you up here. I'll show you how to maximize Sigma's value playing this. So first off, if there's hit scans or anything like that, you should know that, especially Temple Anubis is normally like second or third map, so you would know by then if your team has any good Ashes or Widow that you're playing against. So your first role is normally just spam choke. And a little tip, if you didn't know, you know like how people like use that middle thing to hide for cover when they're low? Yeah, if you bounce down there, it'll still hit them with the splash damage, and it'll also knock them away. So if you aim for that, you'll still do a ton of damage to them. Alright, so we'll go over first off defending right side, then we'll go over defending left. So defending right, you know they're going to be pushing, so you're going to be spamming the choke. They have a Widow, normally be peeking bomb left, so you can use your shield to isolate the Widow. And good thing about that is if they're not going where you have your shield is, if you know they're going to bomb right and you have your shield there, you know they're not going to be shooting and running. And that means you're basically isolating the Widow or Ashe, because it's going to take about 2 to 3 mags of them to destroy your shield of 900 damage, and by then your team will already be safely in cover or the fight will be over. So if you can do that, it basically turns the fight into a 5v6 even though you lose your shield.
Retrieving the barrier.
Just a good thing to know. So that then next thing is defending this. So if you rotate faster, you can play corner shots. But say once they can easily get through the corner and easily see you, you're gonna want to back up to here until they come here. What you're just gonna do is you're just gonna be spamming ricochet shots in there. Sigma is one of the best things for defending L-shaped areas, which this is, seeing how it's an L, because Sig is the only character that can truly ricochet stuff. So he can basically spam away, get as much free ult charge as he can, go into a fight with a ton of ult charge. Hence, when you're coming through here as a Reinhardt, you're not going to be holding your shield up defending your team, because no one's going to be right here. Everyone sets up here. And especially if your team is set up right here, you're just going to be getting free ult charge, and you can possibly build flux while they're still trying to break through here. So that's one thing, is just spam away using your ricochets. Yeah, just use... Yeah, well, Reinhardt comes through though. You'll still get splashed, and you can figure out angles that work best for you, like what angles you like best. But you can still get ricochet shots into here. That's always a good thing. Then next you play backside, and don't forget to keep checking, so like Widow goes top left, change your shield, flick, keep shooting, Widow's up there, turn, shoot. Just try and maximize the value of your shield, especially if your Reinhardt's holding shield up here, but yet your supports or like your DPS are playing back here. It'd be best to protect them while still getting damage off. Alright, next up is we'll go for defending this left side. So this is one big thing I noticed when I watched you guys playing Temple Anubis when I was there at the scrim, that you guys would just let them go all the way down and through without trying to contest them really much. You guys would just drop back to point, but instead you guys shouldn't be doing that. Instead, you guys should be turning, and Sig, you should almost instantly just fire your rock off in there. Oh, I threw it a little high, but you should fire your rock off in there and literally just turn. So if the Reinhardt's coming up with a shield through, you can shoot through, get ricochet, you'll hit everyone in there. So if he has his shield coming through like that, his team's still going to be behind him. You can ricochet in the backside and still get damage off on his team. And then you're still safe.
I see it.
Yeah, you can hit ricochets on either side. Next, say they're pushing up, so start heading up. Yep. Not everyone's going to be behind them. Even there, see, Reinhardt's teams aren't going to follow the Reinhardt perfectly. So say like you're down here, just come down here. Most Reinhardts are going to wait for their whole team to get up behind them, like this, like the Reinhardt, like players would be behind the Reinhardt. But here's the thing, is that some players won't wait for the Reinhardt won't wait for them. This allows you to get your rock in, and maybe if they're in front, if someone, say like a support's slow in front of them, you can rock them and get them before. Or if a Reinhardt, say just have your shield up. One sec, I'll show you. You could easily, you're still safe, you have your shield up, you can literally just rock over him and get his back line. And get some good chip and ult damage in there. Next is when they finally get up there, you're going to be rotating them, kind of like a shower. The farther they go left, you're going to go left up here. You're going to go bomber. You can still spam up. You can still spam up. Then you can also hit some rocks. Then if you want to get close, you can start ricocheting. See, you can't block that ricochet as Ryan. Yeah, I could still probably hit you there. Then you can ricochet there, off that ledge. See, you can shoot under. Good thing with here, you still have your under gaps free. So even if you do think you're blocking, I can still under and hit you like that. Oh, missed the ricochet, yeah. So that's... Sigma is all about getting creative. Even if you might miss the ricochet shot, it's still something you want to like try and hit just because it's value you can get. So that's like... That's 101s of defending that first point. So really, if they're up here, you can just be spamming. You know they won't be able to get much done on you because like with Reinhardt, he won't be able to create the most space. Like holding there, he won't really have like the best angle to attack. Your team won't. So most teams will normally have like a Widow or Ashe there. So all you're gonna do is just toss your shield. You really won't need your shield until they drop, and then from then on, you can completely isolate and force other teams hit scan to basically not be a part of the fight, which is the thing I noticed when you guys would go point, you guys would just ignore the hit scan up there and you guys literally got torn apart. Like I think the Widow killed 4 of you guys.
Yeah, they killed pretty much. We had the stall, when we had the thing, and then 3 Widow kills instantly.
Yeah. So it's a Sigma, it's the hit scan's job to kill it, but it's also the off-tank's job to minimize the value. So the other thing you can do is say they take this high ground too, you can just wall them off there and go back shooting. Every once in a while, peek over. You can also check your shield's health to see if they're dumb and just trying to blast way through all their mags, because, you know, they're like that. Alright, so that's the 101 basics of defending this first point, so we'll go to the second point now. Alright, so you should be aware of the 3 main hit scan areas where they play from. Down middle, up top, top left corner are the 3 areas that you'll find hit scans trying to get value of. So there, up there, and that top left one will be your 3rd one. So then you're just going to be playing choke as you normally would behind your main tank, making calls. So if they're coming down middle, you're just going to spam away. Right, every, I'm pretty sure it's 8 seconds Reinhardt gets a fire strike.
6.
6? Alright. So you should know after he uses after 6, he's going to be probably looking for another one when he's pushing. And if you can recognize that time, that's when you can get your rock in. And if you could time rock, which you get every 10 seconds, so every other fire strike you should be able to potentially hit. But if you could rock him, it creates an opening for your team who's probably spamming away at him to get in a good pick.
Hey, just give me a second, alright?
Yeah.
Barrier in place. Retrieving the barrier. Observe the barrier.
Alright, I'm back.
Alright. Yep. So before I forget, I'm just gonna go over a quick Sigma Shield 101 knowledge, how to maximize its value. So first thing off is, so you're just defending, right? Your team, for example, start pushing up. So for example, you go in front of your shield like this. If you're not eating, you should almost always have your shield I mean, when you're eating, you should always have your shield down recharging. So you, and say if you accidentally, say you have your shield down, you click E, you can still pull your shield down while you're in eat too.
Oh, yeah.
And another thing too, when you're pushing and say you're going into them or like they're falling back or they have low damage and you step in front of your shield, never leave your shield, always pull it, and if it has good health, then use it to keep advancing and minimize the damage you take while pushing the attack. Just don't leave it be. If anything, if you don't think it's gain value, you should almost always have it recharging, because when you do need it, you're gonna need to be at its full strength. Alright, so next we'll go for defending right side. We're just gonna go for Temple Anubis, because this is one of Sigma's strongest maps, but it just seemed like you guys weren't connecting the dots here. So again, if they're pushing through...
So Sigma Shield, I mean, when they're pushing through on here, like, you can also just keep spamming down, right? Catch, like, people off guard with the rock.
Yeah.
I mean, if we play Orisa Sig, then pulling someone and then pulling, like, a squishy.
Yeah, you would want to pull and rock. So you would pull someone, then you would rock them, then hit them with the quick 1-2. But if you're playing over some Sigma, it's the same basic principles, just depending on tanks, or just depending if your ship moves. So on the right side, they're coming through. You're literally just, your whole job is to play angles and literally just try and get as much damage in as you possibly can, and try and build your ult. So they're coming through. You can play. Your job is to minimize value. When it comes to rotating shields, if your Ryan shield's ever low and yours is at full health, tell him to drop his and just put yours in front, so that way you can recharge it, because you want your shield to be maximized best as you can with recharging and not charging. And you two will find a good balance of communicating. You and your Reinhardt need to find a good balance of shield swapping to maximize their values. Especially like, and here's another thing too, is most cooldowns are about 6 to 8 seconds. So every time you feel like they're about to just fire strike or use a helix rocket or whatever they're gonna do, they're gonna pull, they're gonna mortar or whatever, that's the time instead where you and your Reinhardt are gonna have your shields up. That's the time when you want to step in front and use your L2, because yes, you can use your shield on it, but most abilities are normally high damage and do a lot of health to shield. But if you use your L2, it can make it so the only thing actually doing your damage to your shields are primary. Plus, if you eat all those things, on average, most Sigmas will have around 700 to 600 health, making it so your healers don't have to worry about as much about you.
Wait, what's your L2 again?
I mean L1, your eat.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, your biotic graphs, and that's just the basic. Honestly, it's all about playing angles.
And then I'm guessing from over here you're trying to hit this corner so it bounces off.
You can play this corner. You can just bounce right here inside, in and out. Play this corner. This goal of the game is really maximizing the amount of damage you do while alright, as a tank, it's about maximizing the damage you do and taking the least amount of damage you can and making it so your team takes the least amount of damage they can. That's the name of the game. Then on the left side, you're just gonna spam away, but these are just basic Sigma tips and like tricks that you should always be doing. Like the shield is like big. Like you need to master Sigma, you really need to have a good sense of his shield management. Even though it seems like basics, his shield management and his primary is R2, his ricochets, because that's how you're gonna do most of your damage and be a true asset to your team. Map like Temple of Anubis, you should be probably one of the strongest tanks in the game on this map. Alright, so that's going to be the basics of tanking and Sigma. So that's all we're going to do now. I have a video of all this if you ever want to review it. I guess I'll just send it to like the other tanks. But yeah, that's it. Then we were supposed to be doing a scrim review where you see like how my team communicates. But my scrim got pushed back to 6, and I actually won't even be going to that one because I have dinner I have to attend to. But I'll send you guys a footage of probably either tonight's game or tonight's game, which actually I know a lot. I'm pretty sure CGL is going to have live because it's the number 1 and number 2 team in CGL going at it. So you guys can always watch that and hear our comps and see how we play like that. I'll send you guys just a game like that so that way you guys tanks and see how me and my main tank communicate, like how we shot call, because like that's one thing the tanks need to work on the most is shot calling. So I feel like if you guys watch and like see how like we shot call and like how our talk is like minimized but have like the maximum amount of value you can get out of shot calling, so it's not like comms are cluttered or anything like that. Alright, I'll see you, Captain, but that'll be it.